Press Corner.
Run! Now! Destroy!
Mr. Jago, how are you?
What's up, buddy?
Not too much. Sunday afternoon, huh? This is wild.
Yeah, and learnings, right? Daytime, I had to make
Yep.
an adjustment to find a room with a little better lighting, and
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
that worked out well.
I'm kind of liking it, dude.
I am too. I just gotta get like something over here on the wall, CKD like, you know what I mean?
We have all sorts of CKD stuff going on, but that's
I know.
more is great, right?
Oh my God, more is so great.
We
What's going on, man?
not too much, dude. I mean, it's a beautiful. We got beautiful weather here. It's crazy. It's odd for us to do the show during the day, but it's really cool.
Yes, it
really
is.
like today was just incredible. I knew I was gonna. I knew there was a chance I wasn't going to be super well rested because of my camping experience last night with Andy in the backyard. But it was actually pretty decent, and I've had much worse camping experiences as far as sleep goes. I'm not a fan of inflatable mattresses. They're like seesaw. So like,
Yeah, no, that's true. It's almost like if you were sleeping on like a boat, I would think, right? Because it's kind of when you move around, because it's not firm.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it's not unless you get that thing really cranked up full of air. It's
like
really
about to blow up, kind of pumped up.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
But and Tracy was like, I don't know if she's gonna stay out here all night. She might just end up going inside. She was having it, man. She was so into it. She was loving it, and she just stayed out the entire night, which was great. It was a lot of fun. It was
fantastic.
It was great, man.
And that's the perfect yard for it too. You have.
Oh, it's perfect, dude. It's perfect.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like today feels to me, and it's nice to do this during the day, and it's like especially with the shift in the seasons and everything going on, it's pretty wild.
Oh yeah.
It actually feels like a pretty auspicious day because there was a couple of things that I was reminded about. One, this is our 35th episode, which is for whatever significance 35 is. It's what it is. But I mean, we've actually been doing this for quite a while now, which is really neat.
Train keeps it rolling, brother.
Train keeps rolling. And I got a memory pop up in my Facebook that reminded me that it was this day now 11 years ago that I crashed my motorcycle.
Whoa.
Yeah. And
wow.
And it's crazy to think about that, considering the stuff that we're into, music and everything, and what I was doing back then, what I'm still doing.
Sure.
And actually thinking like, hey man, I just lopped off top of my finger. I don't know if I'm gonna, I think I was getting together with Frank like a week later. We were thinking about starting a new project. Like, hey, let's make some music. There it is. I crashed my bike. I lop off my finger, and I'm like, we're gonna have to put that on hold. So yeah, pretty crazy. But fortunately, the finger's reattached in good use, and I can't believe it's been that long. So
it's amazing, really, when you think about it.
Wow. Also, you know what? I saw a post today from Malcolm Tent. I don't know if you remember Malcolm from Trash American Style out in Danbury?
Mm-hmm.
He actually, and I did not know this, but there was, for the longest time, there was a video floating around, and it was Nirvana at the Moon in New Haven.
Oh, yeah.
And Malcolm is actually responsible for taking that video, so I didn't know that. And it was today. He took it. It was that show. But the show happened on this day. Oh man, it's got to be.
Oh God, I think I was in college. This is like early '90s.
Yeah, so it was pretty wild that he had posted that. I thought that was super cool,
Yeah, and I know a buddy of mine that was actually at that show, and he said that if there were 35 people there, it was a lot.
Yeah, and if you have a chance, you could take a look, and you could actually watch the video, and it's
cool.
It's pretty wild. Like, I think I remember when they came around, and I was trying to get to that show, but I just couldn't get to the show.
Yeah.
Oh, an old friend just jumped on Laguna.
Oh.
Yo, Jim.
What's happening?
He's funny. Nice to see you on here, man. I appreciate that. That's super cool. Yeah, it's so, and also another thing I was going to say,
And another thing.
with the timing of it, incredible. You obviously you know how excited I am about this episode.
Yes.
I had a chance to
for
speak
so
with you.
many reasons.
So many reasons, and of course you've watched my obsession with I've always played music. You know that we grew up together, and then this weird shift happened a couple years back when I started playing handpans, steel tongue drums, and then more recently the handpan. Slightly obsessive, one, it would show up on the doorstep, and Tracy's like, "What's, what the heck is this?" And here it was. I had this idea in my head. I was like, "This is so cool, and it's portable, and I love it, and I could trek around." And now that I've built some music and some shows and stuff, I have like 8 of them, and I'm like, basically I have a drum set without drum stands. And I was like, I was trying to simplify my life, but it just didn't go that way.
Well, hey,
that being said,
yesterday,
following some tracking, supposed to see a new drum.
Oh my God.
Ironically, on our afternoon episode, bing bong,
another drum.
FedEx was here. Yeah, it happened. They always happen for a reason. So I was so excited. It was probably an hour ago. I was like, running in with the box. So I'm super stoked, and I'm
oh God, yeah. And you've met some really cool people connecting through this whole thing with the drum.
Absolutely, yeah. It's pretty incredible. And that's enough out of me. I think that, like I said, I had a chance to speak with Amy last night, and I am super, super stoked to talk with her. And I think that we should bring her into the feed so we can
Yay.
a little bit. What do you think?
I think that's a wonderful idea.
Hello, Amy.
Hello.
Hi, Amy.
Nice to meet you, Corey.
Nice to meet you too.
Thank you so much again for taking time and doing this. And it's so crazy because I was like, Amy's coming. She's coming from the future. It's 8 o'clock in the UK. It's like you can tell us what's going to happen. You can tell us everything what's about to happen.
Well, it's gonna be dark.
Okay, all right. Okay.
That's about as much as I've got.
That's pretty good. We appreciate that.
I don't want to give too much away because I might, ruin the past and the future. And
we don't want any weird shifts happening.
Yeah.
You can't mess around with the time-space continuum whatsoever.
Exactly.
It wouldn't be wise.
So a lot of folks, we have some regulars that have joined us today. They really know where you're from. If you don't mind just giving us a little, maybe go back a little ways, tell us where you're originally from, what it's like from the future, but not too much.
Not too much. So I'm actually originally from this space right here.
Really?
So I was born and I grew up in a small town called Grimsby, which is a little fishing town. Well, it's not little actually. I suppose I don't know what the population size is, but it's an average-sized town on the east coast of England, up north, as we
East
say.
Coast.
East Coast. Oh yeah, East Coast. Snap. So this is where I grew up, and I've traveled around a little bit in my kind of late teens and now early 20s. But since COVID and all of that nonsense that we shall not speak of, I've been back here. I moved back here with my parents for a while. So this is my old bedroom that I spent my entire childhood in, and it's now become my studio space. I live not very far away. And then I come here. I get to come and work here in my parents' home pretty much every day. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah, that is
nice.
So awesome. So you've been able to utilize that space and obviously do a lot of work from your old room, which is really cool. That's got to be like super. What does it feel like being in there now as a little bit older? Like, is it super sentimental? And
it's interesting. I had a moment. Well, I've had a few moments because I've like moved out of this room and then moved back in this room and so on and so forth. And I remember there was this one time when it still looked like my bedroom, and I was like sat on my bed and I was like, "What have I done? Like, I'm right back where I started. What have I done with my life? Like, who am I? Where am I? Like, this is horrible. I can't cope with this. Must move everything." And so I actually ended up getting rid of 75% of my possession.
Oh wow.
And just like completely wiping it. And since then I've moved out and moved all of my stuff into another space, and it's become kind of a bit of a almost modular studio. Like it looks different every time I'm in it. I'm always moving things around, and at the minute I've got like a blank space here for filming and recording handpan courses and stuff. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's.
I feel like
cool.
I do the same thing with my space as well. It's like this. I've come to accept the fact that it's this constant like maneuvering of instruments and what feels right in this microphone or this drum, and it's like I
But
started
for
to
both
wonder.
of you, does
Oh,
that
what's
help
that?
with the creative? Does that help with the creative process? You think for both of you, since you both do it?
Absolutely.
I'm just curious.
I think it's just to find a flow. I don't know if you agree, Amy. It's like you're
Yeah.
constant like to make everything jive, you know. And I think
Interesting.
I was thinking maybe I had a problem actually because I moved stuff around so much, and it's like this is too far. I don't know. It's a very weird thing.
No, I love
Hey.
it. I think it's important to have a space that flows well and that you feel comfortable in. Like sometimes, like right now, my desk is facing the wall,
Mhm.
which is okay. I can deal with that for now. But soon I will have to move everything again so that my desk is facing the window so I can look outside while I work, you know?
Yeah.
And
That feng
Yeah.
shui, you know, there's definitely some
That's what that is.
some
Exactly.
That's a
validity
good way to put it.
to
Exactly.
feng shui. And I fight it all the time because I have a 6-year-old daughter that doesn't know anything about that. So she's pushing and shoving and making a mess, and I'm just like, ah! So maybe it's a control thing for me. I get in the basement and I was like, this is my space. I must make it work for me, you know, because my daughter's twirling around. So you obviously been interested in music for a while. What's your earliest like memory to music or real attraction to it as a younger person?
Wow, that's a good question. I like that question. Well, I've grown up around music. I'm very lucky. I've had a really, really lovely upbringing. And my parents are musicians. And
awesome.
I think, I don't know. Okay, one of my very earliest music memories is I was running around the house with some friends after school, and my dad was in one of the rooms downstairs, which is actually just below me right now, and he is down there right now.
I was going to say, he's down there bang on the floor. Dad, bring me a sandwich.
Bring me some snacks. But he was in there with his band at the time. I think it was the Servants they were called, and they had a 4-track, and they were recording some like grunge type stuff. And we were running around making a noise, and so they kind of got a microphone and they said, introduce us on this song. So there's like me on a microphone going, we are the Servants, and then they cracked into the song. And I remember that. I do remember that. But some of my fondest memories are like as a kid being around bonfires at festivals and gatherings and that kind of thing, and just being handed a drum and just kind of, you know, just tapping along. And
was that the first instrument that you kind of got a hold of? Was it the drum actually? A drum?
Yeah, I guess so. Just from that kind of situation. But the first instrument I learned was guitar. My dad taught me a few chords on guitar when I finally got one when I was like 8 or 9 years old. I begged and begged, and my cousin got one before me. I was like, no, I want a guitar. That's not fair. I don't know. Yeah, then I got a guitar. I did a couple of classical lessons, hated it, and then refused to take lessons anymore.
It's like the classical music. It's so intense and so beautiful, but it always seems to be it's a hard thing to swallow. I think as a younger person too, and then you know, I appreciate it now, and you got to be in the right mindset to listen to classical music. It does something to you. You know, it's very emotionally invoking. It's like it's weird shit. But
totally.
So what does your dad play? I'm sorry.
He plays guitar. He started with bass.
Okay.
I think at the time he was playing bass. Back in that old memory. But yeah, he's a guitarist and songwriter. And my mum sings.
So cool.
So yeah, it's just that's been what I've been surrounded.
It's in your blood.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's great.
And then at some point you decided to just pursue it and study it, in school?
I think it just kind of it's one of those things that just kind of happened. Like I remember when I was at school and teachers would ask, what do you want to do when you grow up? What do you want to be when you leave school? Like, what are you going to pursue? And I never really had much ambition, and I never kind of saw myself being a musician. I was like, it's impossible to live off music. Like, I get, like, my parents have always been musicians, but they also have jobs, that kind of thing. And so I remember writing down in one of my kind of things, like future plans or whatever, where do you see yourself in 5 years? It was like working a crappy job and playing loads of music on the side. Like, that was my goal. And I did that for a while. So I never pursued music. I didn't really study it. I haven't got any. I have one qualification in teaching music that I kind of got. But I thought I was attending a training day, and it turned out to be a whole year course. So I've never purposefully studied, but I've played, and then I've kind of fallen into the right situations and been taught by amazing people. So I got into, when I was 18, I got into taiko drumming. I don't know if you've come across taiko before.
Well, I was just going to ask you about that. And I know very little about it. Especially the origins, and if there's any I don't know what the like traditions associated with it.
Yeah, so the drums themselves, so for anybody who doesn't know taiko drums are like massive.
Yeah,
like
they're big.
Like big drums, and you stand up. Typically, I mean, there's loads of different styles. You get little tiny ones as well, but typically you will see a big group of people standing up. There you go. Wow.
Look at that.
Technology. That's what a taiko looks like. Well, there's different styles of taiko. So you see tiny little shimei taiko, and then you've got a couple of other styles as well. So you play it standing up, and it's very kind of theatrical and movementy. And they originate as you see me play in that style from Japan, but it's kind of spread across the world, and so you see different styles in particularly in North America. There's some incredible taiko happening in West Coast America, and there's a lot of history behind that. But when I say a lot of history, it kind of started like in the 60s, 70s. Like, it's not like this style, like ensemble drumming like this. It's not as old as you think it is.
What about is there a difference in where they come from, like the position of the drum? Because I feel like I've seen them really upright. Where you're playing, is that still taiko, or
like where you play like this?
Yeah, like the drum is actually not your drum head isn't this way. It's like kind of facing you, and is that still taiko, or?
Yeah, that's the same thing. Yeah. And you see actually those big drums.
Yeah.
Kind of play this way. The odaiko. You see those. They've been played for many years, and more so in kind of like spiritual settings and that kind of thing. But the actual like performance of it, it's very, very new. So yeah, there's so many different styles, and even you can wear it as well and play it on your side.
Oh wow!
And the styles you can play sat down. There's like there's dances involved and festivals. There's so much to that. It's such a rich, beautiful art form.
What was it about that drum that attracted you to it? Like, why that drum as opposed to something smaller or different?
Like a full kit.
Was it the drum itself and the traditions or things attached to it as well, or?
I saw a couple of local players who later on became my they trained me up, and then they became my colleagues and good friends. And I was playing at an event. I must have been about 17, 18. And then they played, and it was just two of them. They didn't have their group with them. It was just the two of them. And they were so, like, just their energy and their joy was so big. And it filled the whole space. We were in like a local little stadium thing. Yeah. And they filled the whole space, just two women drumming. And it was so badass. And I was like, I want to do that. Like, I would love to do that. But I was too shy to actually do it. So I used the excuse, I don't have enough money to join the club, kind of thing. And I was chatting to Emma, one of the women who drums, and she said, well, if you join us and we train you up and you promise to teach with us and perform with us, then you're welcome to just join. And
wow, like, awesome.
Wow. Now I don't have an excuse. I kind of have to do it. So that was that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So are you still, do you have time to still continue with this? Are you still doing the taiko drumming and stuff?
Yeah, I haven't done it for a long time.
Oh yeah.
So I was for a while. I was teaching in schools and kind of playing those drums pretty much, I guess, 6 days a week. And it was amazing. It was awesome. It was really intense.
I was gonna say that's intense. Wow.
Yeah. And so, but I wanted to travel, right? I wanted to kind of go see friends, and taiko is the reason that I started traveling in the first place. I had never left the country until I was 18, when our group got a gig in Hamburg, Germany.
Wow,
and they were
cool.
like, we're going to Hamburg, and I was like, I don't have a passport. I don't want to do that. And they said, well, we're going. You have to do it. And so I've got Emma and Lisa from Humber Taiko to thank for kind of giving me the itchy feet and the travel bug. So yeah, at the end of the end of 2019, I quit all of that. I stopped teaching in schools. I did my last sessions before the Christmas break, and then just after Christmas, I left to travel. I went to Italy and then America, and then got locked down in LA.
Oh, so you were? Oh, wow, you were in. So when the pandemic was kind of heightening, you were in the United States. You were in
no
LA.
kidding.
Oh, that's crazy! Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. So it was, it was an adventure. Wow. It was so.
Escape from LA.
Right, and you're 18, 19.
No, this was late. This was 2019. So by this time I was, how old am I now? I'm 25. I was 23, 24.
Okay.
So yeah, a bit older and more grown up by that point.
Well, that helps with the situation.
Yeah. I don't know what I would have done if I was still new to the whole travel thing. I probably would have freaked out.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. And it feels like, you're talking about 2019. Yeah. Is that what you said? It's just like, it's a huge, like, with everything that has gone on, obviously in the last couple of years, it's just been this wild time warp. It's like this, it's almost like this lingering feeling of everything has stopped, but there's still, then you look back and you're like, holy shit, that was 2 years ago or whatever. This is a really, really bizarre experience for all of us, which is a lot of the motivation for Corey and I to start this is exactly that, because we obviously we love live music. I launched the t-shirt line, I think 2 months before the pandemic, before the lockdown. I was like, I'm gonna do it. I got this idea, and then I started prepping and printing everything. It's all self-contained. I do everything basically, and then I launched it, and it was like pandemic, which in an odd way, because it's an online business, it kind of spiked the sales because no one was seeing anybody, and they were like, oh, what's Jim up to? He's got this new thing. You're home like, oh, I'm gonna buy a t-shirt. So it actually helped, which is so crazy. But
how long were you stuck here? Like, were you able to get home right away or no?
Yeah, well, I could have gotten home right away. I chose not to. So I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks of lockdown, and kind of as it was happening. I think England had been locked down for a little bit longer, and Boris Johnson had kind of called everybody home, and I was like, nope, I'm not doing it. I have like my first like big gig over here, and I'm really excited about it. I don't want to go. And so we did. Well, obviously the gig was cancelled, but we did it all online. It was really cool.
Oh, nice.
And I stayed just a little bit longer just to enjoy the time there with the people that I love. And then I thought, right, visa's running out. I'm just going to bite the bullet and go home. So at the time, there was like one flight every couple of days from LAX. Oh, wow. So it wasn't like direct to England. So it wasn't like it was, I could get home pretty much whenever I wanted. So it wasn't such a scary situation. It wasn't too bad.
We had a trip planned to Paris. I think they were like teetering on the flight, like stopping all the flights, international travel and everything. It was within a day or two. We were like, what do we do? We had a apartment all rented in Paris, and the guy was like, it's really not that bad, and we're like, and then like we decided to cancel, and then the next day they just canceled. They put the ban on traveling, and it was like, I can't imagine being stuck. At first I was like, imagine if we got stuck in Paris with the 6-year-old, and then I was like, maybe I want to be stuck in Paris.
Right?
Why not?
Yeah, and it all happened so fast as well. Like
It happened. Yeah.
crazy fast.
Ricky's observing my fine red wine drinking today. Usually, typically Corey and I are on at night, as you know.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
it's whatever, beer or whatever, but he's not happy with me drinking fun. I just, it's like an afternoon thing. I feel
It's evening here, and even I'm being boring and drinking water. Sorry, folks.
That's okay.
So you got to tell us when did you discover the handpan, and when did you start playing and stuff? Because
I discovered the handpan. I was still at school, so I must have been about 14, 15. And it was I was one of the people that saw a viral video on YouTube. It was amazing busker plays crazy instrument. And what is that crazy instrument? And then deep dive on YouTube. And it was a guy called Daniel Waples, who you might have come across. Really cool dude. And one of the videos was in Lincoln, which is a city really close to me. And I was like, oh, holy shit, no way. Like, that's almost where I live. This guy is like near me. Anyway, I looked up the handpans, and at the time, all I could find was either the Hang or the Halo. So there were only two makers at the time.
Yeah.
The Hang was in Switzerland and the Halo in the US. And I looked into getting a Hang, and you had to like write a letter to them and like prove to them why you wanted the instrument, and you had to visit them, and like
crazy.
It was just crazy. And it was just at the time where it got crazy expensive.
They were like, you have to live on the side of a mountain and just water.
You have to train for 2 years. Like,
you have to meditate for 8 hours a day, and then we'll think about making a drum for you.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much it. Yeah, maybe not quite that bad, but yeah. So I just kind of resigned myself to the fact that I was never going to have a handpan, and I kind of accepted it. I was like, it's way out of my price range. I don't even like. It was like 3,000 euros or something. And I thought, when am I ever going to see that much money? Like, I've got £20 in my account of pocket money. Like, it's not, it's not going to happen. So I think a few years later, I managed to save up and buy a tongue drum for a couple of £100. And I was like, this will do. This is great. I love this. And then I was at a local festival, and there was a guy across the field. I must have been about 16 at this point. Somebody unpacking at a tent across the field. I was with my parents, and I was like, holy crap, Mom, that guy's got a handpan. He's got an actual handpan. And my mum, she kind of looked over, and she was like, no, I think that's just his barbecue. Like, I don't think that's I was like, no, it's a handpan. But I didn't dare go over until the end of the weekend, and I finally got the balls to go over and do it, and he let me play, and it was incredible. So I vowed to myself, one day I'll have a handpan. And then when I turned 18, I started university. And because I come from like a low income household, I get I got a grant. So I got a student loan that I do have to pay back, and a student grant that I didn't have to pay back. But I was still living at home. So usually that would go towards like living expenses and food and all that kind of stuff. I didn't have any expenses, but I did want to buy a handpan.
Hey, I don't blame you.
Thank you, taxpayers.
One of our friends compared it to like getting a Hanzo sword.
Like a Hanzo, yeah. Meditating the mountains.
That's crazy, because the experience that you're talking about is actually very similar to myself, because I did the same exact thing. I discovered them by accident. Like, what is this odd instrument? Looked at what they cost, and I was like, oh yeah, that's all right. And then accidentally found in all, you go down like a internet black hole, and you're just searching, and then discovered the tongue drums that were a little more affordable at the time, which was probably at this point 4 or 5 years ago. But do you remember what kind of tongue drum you ended up getting?
Yeah, it was a happy drum.
A happy drum, yeah, I'm familiar with those. That's cool.
Like a tank drum. Yeah, what did you have?
I discovered Corey, I don't know if you can see the comments on your end. Booze again, like, good choice. Good. Thank you, Nate, for encouraging us to make better choices. Nate is actually very talented.
Wow, that was funny.
Metal art. I ended up getting a Gouda drum, which I just found. I got my first one, and same thing. I just fell in love with it, and definitely had good experiences with it. And it was like over years, going back to handpans, and then they became a little more accessible, a little more makers in the United States, and then researching to make sure I could find some quality, and then it was like take the plunge and get one.
So how many do you have?
So I have let's see, five Gouda drums and
nice.
3 handpans.
Wow.
Yeah. So it looks my basement is like, and it's crazy. It's crazy because I love them all, and that's the difficult. There's not one that I really love more than the other. It's just like I love them. So as you know, the way that they just have this magical attraction. It's just
that's a great word too. Magical.
Yeah, they really are. It's just insane.
I'm watching some of the videos of you, Amy. I mean, and you too, Jim. But we see the way the hands go, and you're like, how is all that just happening? Where's the sound coming from? It's just so full. It's amazing.
And I'm glad you said that, Corey, because I wanted to ask you, Amy, at what point of playing the handpans did you decide that you were going to do the like the YouTube tutorials and stuff?
Pandemic.
It
was similar story to like I guess the t-shirt company and doing this kind of thing. Like it was good. Well, no, actually it was after the pandemic. So right when I left to travel, that was my like, this is going to be the year 2020, booked in a load of festivals. I'm going to be a traveling musician. I'm going to make it happen. Like, this is going to be amazing. And I got loads of gigs that I was so excited about. Of course, none of it happened. It all got shut down. And so I came home. I was kind of sad for a couple of weeks. And then I thought, right, I need to do something. So the way the YouTube tutorials came about is I decided to start a class, but I still didn't feel quite confident and comfortable enough to be like, hey, look at me, I'm teaching handpan. Like I'm a handpan player. And nobody, I mean, I was vaguely known, but not massively so in a kind of people know that I'm a teacher and that kind of thing. So I designed the class to almost just be a sociable space because I wanted to meet people. I wanted to see my friends and play handpan together on Zoom somehow. Because I just needed that because had been so excited about the festival.
Connection.
Yeah, exactly. It's so important. And that is exactly what my Sunday classes are all about, is just connecting together and creating together. But in order to advertise those, I was like, okay, I need to like show people what it is that I'm doing and prove that I'm capable. So I made a couple of YouTube videos and then said, hey, come to my class if you want to. But then people watched the YouTube videos and enjoyed them who didn't necessarily want to come to the classes. So I just ended up carrying on, and it ended up being a thing. And now that's kind of what I do.
And if people look for it, your YouTube channel is they can just search your name on YouTube.
Yeah, just
YouTube.
That's it. Oh, look at this. This is so good. This is so fancy. I don't need to do anything. That's my name. Amy Naylor.
And also your Instagram, which I think I may have posted before if they want to check out this. So yeah, I mean, I discovered your videos just after I'd been playing for a little bit, and I said, maybe I should look for a little more of a foundation and technique and stuff. I mean, I've been a drummer almost my whole life, but it's a completely, I think it's a different, now you're dealing with a tonal instrument, and it's like, I'm not just banging on stuff. I mean, a kit is tonal in a certain extent, but so I found you on YouTube, and when I was watching the more of your tutorial type videos, it was great because you're pretty even and not too fast, which was super helpful for me when you're explaining stuff, because I'm like, I don't get and I'm left-handed too, so it's a weird experience. Like there's a dominance, and like it just, my head just, there are some things I couldn't get, but they're all very helpful, by the way.
Cool.
And then you know, searching even deeper to see some of the music that you had put together, and when you're just playing, it's like a completely different thing to watch. And I was like, whoa, it's fucking cool. I want to play like that. Maybe I should sign up for your class.
You're more than welcome to join if you'd like to.
Yeah, but it was definitely amazing. So especially the one that I used, the song that I used for a promo, that is something that you written, right? It's I Thank You. Is that your?
Yeah.
That that hook, that core, I guess you could call it the chorus, you know, maybe the quicker part or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd watched it a couple times, and like it was so stuck in my head. Literally, like it's such a good groove. Like it's just, you know, that there's this rhythmic thing going on, and I was like, I was like falling asleep the night I watched it, and I was in my head. I was like, oh.
Nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, I really dig that song.
Thank you.
What do you?
I thank you.
What do you usually do as far as inspiration when you're, especially? I mean, I think both, like lyrically and the melodies that you put together. Is it just happen for you? I mean, I could see maybe like the melodies, but maybe lyrically, I'm kind of thinking, what are you inspired by to write lyrics for the hands specifically?
For the for stuff on the handpan. Yeah, a wide range of things. I've actually, so that song that you just talked about and a couple of others that are in my set now, originally I wrote on the guitar. So before I played handpan, I was always kind of I wrote songs and played and sang. I never really considered myself a guitarist or a singer, but those were kind of tools to write songs and to get stuff out, basically.
Yeah.
So I Thank You, for instance, that song, I wrote that at the beginning of my travels in 2019 or very early 2020. And I was in the basement of a friend's house in Tuscany in Italy. And she was hosting me for a month. And I was just feeling really grateful. And I was just in this place where I was like, wow, like, where would I be if I didn't have other human beings around me helping me out? Like, God knows what I'd be doing. It'd be a mess. And this song just
statement.
Yeah, just kind of poured out. And other things that I've written, of ideas have come from like books that I've read or conversations that I've had. Or when I was in my late teens, I wrote a lot of really angry Save the Planet songs. Like, why are we letting our planet die? Like it just consumed me, this anxiety of our planet's going to burn. What are we going to do? What am I going to do? So I wrote a lot about that.
That's so great that you have this avenue to, especially music is just, it's so awesome to be able to express yourself that way. And it's neat because you can feel strongly about these messages that you have, put it together in music and put it out there. And it's just like there's so many different avenues, because Corey and I, it's funny because what we do with Crush, Kill, Destroy, which has a pretty menacing name, but it's really all about, it really is all about this positive mindset and just and being aware of things and making some kind of changes, whether it's within yourself or bringing some awareness to people. It doesn't, it's not a even though it might sound, like I said, pretty menacing, it does have this positive message to it. And we, with the shirts that we put together and the imagery, we hope that it's like people can be attracted to it. Just like the music that you put together, someone is going to be like, whoa, this sounds really beautiful. And then they might hear an extended message. You're like, oh wow, yeah, this is important shit. So I think I appreciate that about any art form, really. And we're so glad to be able to do this stuff. When I first started doing the Crush, Kill, Destroy thing, I was like, well, yeah, there was, and it's nice because it is attractive to all different kinds of people. And some people are like, yeah, it's badass, bro. and then there's maybe someone who might relate on a little bit of a deeper level and say, yeah, man, I really appreciate this. And
And that's important, I think, to like appeal to the different audiences and different types of people, and because like a lot of my music fits perfectly in the kind of hippy dippy contexts and all that kind of thing. And then a friend of mine is like a drum and bass producer. She's remixed one of my songs and it's gone to a completely different audience of people who are now
so cool.
Kind of thing. And then you've got, you know, the Crush Kill Destroy stuff, which again is a whole other group of people entirely. So it's perfect.
I think that's one thing I love about the handpan, because it's so unique and so different. And I don't know what your experience is at home with playing out. I don't know how popular that instrument is, maybe in just your immediate area, because is it something that people say, whoa, like what is that? Or is it gaining a popularity in just the way it looks and people maybe seeing it more? Like, what's your experience with that?
I think every time I go outside with it, most people either say, what the hell is that? I want to know what that is. Or they go, is that a hang? Is that a hang drum? Like, and they're like, oh my God, you've got a hang drum? I say, it's a handpan. But like, wow. So
we can't say hang drum. We can't say that.
Yeah, don't say that.
Legalities.
We might get so handpan is the umbrella term for all the different types of instruments.
It is. It's so crazy because that's usually the response I get is like people just don't know what it is. And I think that's one thing I really love about it too, to be able to have your time with it, embrace it, play it, learn more about it, and then you bring it into the public eye, so to speak. And it's like, whoa. And then adapting it with all different kinds of other instruments and electronics and stuff like that, it just becomes this whole new animal. And so it's so good.
I mean, I spent a lot of time listening to a lot of the stuff you have out there, and like what Jimmy just said, wow, like it's just it's so good. So
and
good.
some of the producers out there, and like some of the people doing crazy shit with the handpans are just incredible.
Well, it seems like you're obviously taking a lot of time with it to really know the instrument. I think that's what I was trying to say before, watching the tutorials and being like, okay, cool, I think I could learn this. And then watching you play your own stuff, and I was like, whoa, she's really like getting down on this drum, you know. I'm like, oh, it's so cool. I better keep watching the tutorial. Have you used it in any kind of healing sense with like sound vibration or anything like that, or have you had the opportunity to do any of that stuff, or how do you connect with it? Do you feel strongly about sound as a healing tool?
Totally, I just vibration as a healing tool, so that like different types of healing as well. I mean, we all know that our bodies literally resonate at different frequencies depending on our kind of mental state and physical state. So having different vibrations and all that kind of stuff it does have an impact on our actual physical being and health.
Yeah.
But also just playing the handpan, it just feels good. Like whatever science is behind it, like frequencies, sound, like all of that kind of stuff, whatever, just playing just feels amazing. And just listening to it feels amazing, at least to me.
It really does. And I think, and I shared with you a while back that I had just started to do this yoga series. And I really watched the tutorial on meditative playing.
Yeah.
And it was really helpful. Like I really appreciate that, because I'd never done this before. And I had gone to the yoga studio that our friend owns and to show her the drums, because I knew on at least one level I wanted her to feel comfortable that these were going to be in her studio. And there was and I brought all my drums, and I was like, this one's cool, but I don't know if it'll jive here. This one's really cool. And she did. She was like, you mind if I lay down? I was like, whoa, all right. No, and she was like really digging on the vibration. She's a really skilled yoga teacher and knowledgeable. And there were 3 she felt really strong on. I was like, these are the ones that are coming. And then I kept watching your tutorial, because it was so important for me, because I like to get down on them too and play, but it was so important for me to just take a step back and in that setting just kind of breathe and feed off of what she was. It was yin, so there wasn't much talking.
Nice.
And it was long poses, and I didn't want to like freak people out. I'll be like,
yeah, I was there. And,
yeah, Corey.
Oh, cool.
And it was awesome.
It was a really great experience.
Yeah.
And it happened perfectly. And and I need to pay you for that class, I guess.
Yeah, what was great about it is the fact that they never rehearsed. There was nothing like that went on, and you'd think they did it like 20 times. I mean, it just flowed so nicely together. It was really nice.
Yeah, I think that's really nice about the handpan too. Have you played with other musicians and in an improv setting and just feel it just really flowing and jiving really nicely?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the beauty of it. It's so like, as long as you both got the same key handpan, it's so easy to just flow and to just connect, especially with other players that have similar kind of ethos to me and connect with the instrument in a similar kind of way. It just works. I had a gig a couple of weeks ago down in Bristol at Meridian Handpan Studios, which is a maker here in the UK.
I did look into them because
they make beautiful handpans, really, really beautiful handpans. And so I met a few people there. I met a couple of players that we kind of followed each other's music for a long time and met briefly at another festival, but never really spent much time together. And straight away, just jamming and just making the most beautiful sounds, and it just felt so good.
So awesome.
Which it much needed after a year and a half of isolation.
Sure.
It's definitely true that it does just invite flow completely, especially once you really get to know your instrument and connect with it a little bit and spend some quality time with it. I'm very grateful to have these instruments at my disposal to
they did like there's it is it's nice to chat with you because there's almost this unexplainable attachment to this instrument. And I'm like, I just told Corey the other night, I was like, man, it's such a weird journey in this shit. This is me. I grew up playing 80s metal and Sabbath and Judas Priest and Iron Maiden, and I still was playing it up until right before the pandemic. I played in a cover band, but I had gotten introduced to the drums and started playing it, and all this weird stuff happened, even with the Gouda company, where a lot of good stuff happened. I could tell you about someday. And it was just this really weird experience, and a lot of it happens by the fire, like you were saying. It's a lot of the magic happens out there, but it's a really interesting connection to these drums. So there's something going on.
I think a lot of people have a very similar story. Like when I love to ask people that I've just met who play handpan, what's your handpan story? I want to hear it. And it's always, more often than not, seems to be, I love the idea of it, blah, blah, blah. And then suddenly right place, right time. Like it's almost like it just happened and it came into my life like it was supposed to be in my life. Like it's crazy how much that story is told.
Wow.
So cool. So you've done some stuff, and in thinking about the pan as I know it's a young instrument, but it does have this, like, it's got an old soul, it's got I almost thought it was, I know that it's probably derived from more primitive kind of forms of it, but it's still a young instrument. But so now you've done some stuff with electronics, combining the two. And it's really cool, and I'm experimenting too myself, and I really dig it. How do you feel about the way they're kind of like these two different worlds, like working together? Like, because actually, you know what? I'm going to show this little clip. I have a clip from the video run. It's run just a couple seconds long.
I love that.
Corey, he's over the moon about that song.
Such a good song.
Which one?
Run with Omri Cohen, is that right? Omri?
Oh yeah.
It's just a couple seconds, but I want to play it because it's super cool. It's just like I said. So cool.
It's so good.
And the heavy bit at the end, or
Oh my God.
That's really
It's
really
explosive.
I love that. I'm so proud of that project.
It's absolutely great, that song. I urge everybody to go out there and find it on YouTube and listen to it, because that part you're talking about, that's some good stuff.
Yeah. And a lot of that, again, that's down to the collaboration with Omri. He's an incredible musician, super inspiring. So it's funny, I'm still kind of working my way into the world of electronic music, because I love synthesis, I love sound, and I'm still learning, I'm still figuring it out. And I've watched so many of Omri Cohen's tutorials on YouTube. I'm like in love with what he makes. And then I commented on one of his videos. I was like, dude, this is amazing. And he was like, dude, let's collaborate. And I was like, what? Okay, yay. So I was totally stoked about that. Yeah.
So
I mean, it's amazing.
A couple people were super into. They want to see the part we're talking about. So the best thing is it's on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
YouTube, Amy Naylor, definitely go there and check it out. Yeah, like
so
I watched it, and like when it got to that intense, you have the combination of the sounds and the visuals that are in that video. I was like, wow.
Not gonna lie, but for me, it was like Tool-esque. You know, I mean, the build up, just everything about it, like more like that prog rock kind of, like everything about it, just this build up, and it was, and it's beautiful and powerful at the same time. That song, it was awesome. Awesome.
Are you a Massive Attack fan?
Yeah. Well, they exist in my life, and they knock about in my playlists now and then.
We saw them for it was like the 20-year anniversary of one of the albums at Radio City Music Hall, and it just, I'm thinking about your video, because the visuals were intense. Like I left that show feeling like kind of fucked up, like almost like the angst you're talking about with making this music, and be like, you're destroying the world and stuff like that. It was that kind of visuals where I was like almost ashamed to be a human being at one point, but uplifted by the music. It was really weird. So there's an element of those sensations when I watched this video that you did with Omri, and I think it's really cool. I appreciate it.
That was so good.
Definitely felt powerful when we were making it.
Speaking of digital stuff, I'm very curious, because obviously when you continue to delve into the internet and search stuff, all these things pop up, and you're like, whoa, what's this? Digital handpans.
Yeah, they exist.
What's your thought on that?
Okay.
Oh, you mean like looping them?
No, digital mate. I actually know what, Amy. I have let me see if I can take I have a picture of one that I came across.
Oh, cool.
It's the Oval. This is called the Oval, and there's a couple out there, and this is still in its like infant stages. But
there's a whole story behind the Oval. But there are other companies
making. Give me some dirt.
Yeah, there's a lot of dirt. There's a couple of other companies. I think one of them is Lumen Pan, and there's another one that I can't remember the name of. That I would definitely recommend looking into. But Oval, so I pre-ordered an Oval about 5 years ago.
Wow.
Maybe. They did a whole Kickstarter campaign, and
that's what I came across.
The stuff looks amazing. They have an app as well, which I still have on my phone.
Yeah.
But about 3 or 4 years ago, they went out of business, and they just went bankrupt. And so
let me make a note of that over here.
There's only a few floating around, so you're very lucky if you get one. And I didn't receive mine, so I put all the money into it and then never saw that money again, which is super sad. But you know what? At the time, I loved the idea of it, because I was like, wow, I can have any scale that I like, and it only costs like £500 or whatever. But now I'm so into like the vibrations and all the different textures that I can get out of the handpan that wouldn't even come close in that, with that instrument. I think it's an amazing tool for electronic music, especially. And I've produced a whole album and it's all digital handpan actually. That I actually played on a keyboard. Melia.
I told you I was actually digging. And when you because you have that on your Bandcamp page that explains that it was all samples. And I wasn't sure about the handpan because I was like, what's she talking about? Is it just the background stuff, or is it the handpan too? So now you're telling me, that's pretty amazing. I do like that. I do really dig that album.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was really fun to make. Actually, it was just one of those kind of passion projects. I was like, I'm gonna do electronic music. I'm gonna make something cool, something that I would actually listen to, because a lot of my songs, as much as I love writing them and performing them, I wouldn't sit and listen to them. But that album, I've played it in the past and enjoyed listening to it, which is a really cool thing to be able to say. Like, I made that. I like it.
Be proud.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I definitely the resonation of that steel handpan, and I just feel like it would be, you would have a greater connection to it. I love the digital stuff too, especially in music. I've definitely experimented with it, but I really had mixed feelings about it. There's another, and I'll have to look it up again. I think it's a German company, little different shape, and it seemed like it had a good feel to it. I don't know, but I have mixed feelings about the digital handpan.
Yeah, I think it's just a completely different instrument entirely, and it's cool in its own right. If you approach it as a different thing, but it cannot replace handpan. You can't treat it like the acoustic instrument.
Someone said that to me once. In a conversation with an older drummer. He was like, "Oh, what do you got?" And I was like, "Oh, I have a little Gresh set. I had a Yamaha, and I have a Roland. I love the Roland. It's great sound." And then he was like, "Nothing sexy about a digital drum set." And it kind of stuck in my head because I would think about doing gigs and stuff, and I'm like, man, the electronic drum set is so easy to pack up. I'm like, I'd be so fun. It sounds good, and I was like, it's not that sexy, the shells, and I have this nice Sunburst Gresh set, and I'm like, so
sexy. What's up, Frank?
Speaking of sexy, our buddy Frank is here, and he just wants to come on and win stuff, is apparently. But
hi, Frank.
What's your do you use a lot of in the process of, I think, writing, or even like we're talking about your space and everything, creative visualization? Do you use creative visualization when you're writing songs, or maybe putting a video together in your mind? You see these things beforehand, and then it kind of manifests. And do you think, if you find that you feel that part of the process, has it made you a better performer in a sense?
I don't know. I think that's a tricky one to answer. I don't really know what goes on in my head.
Yeah.
When I'm making stuff.
That's what I keep telling people about myself. They don't get
it. It's tough to get, though. But I understand it. But it's tough to get.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I get it.
Like, do you hear a song or hear a finished song, or see a finished video in your mind? Maybe even if it's a tutorial where you're like, I need to set this up, and this is what I'm going to teach. Like, as you're processing it through your mind, you kind of visualize the whole. If it's a 15-minute teaching, you visualize the whole thing from start to finish, and then you go and do it, and it kind of manifests not nicely, or sometimes maybe not as nice.
Typically, no. Usually, I mean, like, so when I write a song, it just kind of comes out as it's supposed to. It just kind of bleh. If I'm making a video for a song, sometimes I have an idea, and I'm like, okay, how can I make that happen?
Yeah.
Like with the Run video, I was like, oh yeah, actually it'd be really cool if we did this, and so I pulled a load of footage together.
Yeah.
With the tutorials, usually now inspiration comes from if I'm teaching a private student and they're having trouble with one particular thing, and I'm doing one particular thing with them for a while. I'm like, oh, that'd make a great video. So I will just set a camera up, sit at the couch, which is usually over here, and it's not at the minute. I've moved it. It's modular space. And then I'll just start teaching the camera as though there was a human in front of me, and then afterwards I will edit it and figure out how to make it coherent, because it's not always coherent. But recently I've been filming, and you heard it here first because it hasn't been announced anywhere yet, But I've been filming an online course for handpandojo.com. And that's been a real challenge because I have to have an idea in my head of what it's going to look like.
Oh, yeah.
And it has to be in line with the rest of what's already on the website. And so I've like planned it, and I'm not a planner. I turn up to like my classes and lessons, and I just turn up and I'm like, right, we're going to make music today. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I do not plan. That I'm not good at planning. And so this project, I've had to do that and visualize what I'm trying to create. So yeah, actually that is more challenging for me.
Well, that's
the flow.
That's the interesting thing about the digital music and combining it with the handpan, because the handpan is so flowing. You can show up, like you say, you can show up and start playing, but with digital, especially if you're doing like looping and stuff like that, you got to have some kind of plan, which I discovered the hard way in a couple instances. It's really, really tricky.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I used to do a lot of looping. It was really good fun. And that takes a lot of practice and a lot of planning, actually. Very true. But once you get that, though, once you've got that structure and you've got the handle over the loops and that kind of thing, then you've got creative space to flow in between, which is really cool.
And it does become like any other instrument, putting the time into it and just becoming comfortable with it. It's a pretty wild process. What were you going to say, Corey? I'm sorry.
No, what I was going to say is I just find it fascinating how, all of the artists and musicians have this unique way of creating music. Like I remember I think it was Matt, with Cryptopsy. I think it was them, where he was talking about the drummer in the band, like heard an odd noise from his refrigerator.
Yeah.
It created a beat in his head.
Yeah.
So I think there's just something with you special folks that just like whatever it is, because you make it look so easy, and to hear that there's really never necessarily a plan. Like I said, I get it, because you're so creative. Your brains are just they're just going.
They're just crazy.
And then you put your hands on like the drums or whatever it is, and it's just it just creates beautiful, beautiful music. It's awesome stuff.
Speaking of creating beautiful music, how do you feel about playing for us?
Yeah, I would love to. What would you like to hear? Should I play a song or two? Or
I think you should play what you feel.
Go with what feels right.
If you feel like playing two, play two. If you feel like playing three, if you're in it, go for it.
Cool.
Whatever. Really, I mean, we definitely appreciate it. So
absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. I would love to play "I Thank You for You," since that's been.
That's so awesome.
But I think first I would love to show you this beautiful handpan.
Oh yes,
that is like.
I mean, a lot of people aren't even really familiar with the instrument itself, so that's great. Is this a Meridian?
This is an Alea pan. So this is from a small company in Italy.
Wow.
Mumi and
so awesome.
Oh my goodness, his name has gone from my mind. I'm so sorry. But yeah, they're beautiful human beings, lovely people, and this is an incredible pan. I feel like maybe I should demonstrate handpans first.
That'd be awesome.
So this is a Meridian handpan. This is made of stainless steel. They're a UK-based company, and this is kind of your standard size. Like it has 8 notes. This is what you would usually see. I mean, now they're getting more and more crazy, and it sounds like this. I'll just play something on each of my pans. I have 3 pans, so I won't be here.
Yeah, please do.
Yes.
So awesome.
Bravo.
So awesome. So what?
Wow.
And what key is that one in?
This is an F low pygmy.
Oh, pygmy. Wow.
So it's like an F minor, almost kind of pentatonic type scale.
Yeah.
It only has 5 notes. So the first 3 here are the same as the top 3 here.
Oh, the octaves. Oh, so pretty.
It's
Wow.
just insane. I don't even. I mean, again, I can't comprehend it, but that was just beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful.
It's a lovely instrument. It's really, really warm and bright at the same time somehow.
And like the construction of these things too, like you were saying about I'm sorry, the other one was from Italy, yeah. The person, you said they're beautiful people, and it's like it's with anything that is creative, I always say like food, if you cook with love, a beautiful meal comes out, and it's you just experience that in different ways. So you have, like anything, levels of quality, and you could tell that a lot of love goes into these instruments from the people that put those intentions into this.
Yeah,
I just got the newest drum I got, and I have 2 now. Is from Ismith, which is from oh my god, same thing. I'm having
the names.
Ismith Instruments is, I want to say, I don't know if it's I think it's Wisconsin, actually. A woman.
Yes, I think you're right.
Yeah, Jenny. She moved, I think, from like Kentucky. Ended up out there, and she's been building since like before 2004, way before 2004. Yeah, maybe 2004, I think. But same thing. I mean, they're really beautiful instruments, and that was only from. You could see in the website too. It was very thorough. It was laid out nicely, and that's what attracted me to the website, because you could tell they were made with love. So that's so awesome.
Yeah, I'm exactly. Actually, a lot of people that come to my classes play their instruments. I've never had the pleasure of playing one, but
oh wow,
yeah, I've seen a lot of those around. So
super cool.
Yeah, but yeah, you're totally right. It's I will now that I'm able to, because we have so many options, I will only go to makers that I know have put so much.
Yeah.
And to be fair, pretty much every maker that exists do put their blood, sweat, and love and tears and all the rest of it into their instruments.
And there's so much involved in building these things and building them well. It's like
it's pretty insane.
That's where the cost of these things come from, because they're not just like ka-choink. Okay, this one's done. It's like
they're
much
hand pounded, right? Like, aren't they just all hand? Yeah.
And every instrument, even in every instrument from the same maker, has different. Once you've got the ear for it and you've played a lot of different hand pans, they all have their own character. And so the 3 pans that I have, they sound complete, not just in their scales, but just the texture and the tonality of them sound completely different. Like this one, actually, I played quite fast tonight, but usually it really only warrants really slow, gentle playing, because it's got such a long, beautiful sustain on it.
Yeah, it does.
There's another one that I have is much more percussive and funky and fun, and so it's so many different elements and personalities.
I like funky and fun. Woo!
Yeah, I like funky and fun. I spend a lot of time playing funky and fun.
I love it.
Yeah. So I guess I'll show you the beast.
Whoa.
The beast.
The beast. This is. So you see it more and more now. Handpan's getting more and more notes. Because people are getting greedy with the amount of notes, including myself, that they want.
Like, more, give me more.
So this comes with a story. This handpan. I first played this same scale again when I was in Italy right before the lockdown. I was at a friend's house, Sabina and Flavia. They have a beautiful house over in Italy, playing a few of their handpans. And I played this scale. It wasn't this exact pan, but it was the same scale from the same maker. And I was like, whoa, like I don't, first of all, I can't play it. Like, this is so difficult to get my head around. Second of all, it's absolutely beautiful. Please tell me what the scale is. And so Sabina said, actually, I can't remember, but you can ask the maker because she's coming for dinner tonight.
Wow.
I was like, oh, okay.
That's insane.
This is exciting. So we had a good long chat, and I was like Mumi's passion for just the way she talked about making them. I was like, you're going to make me a handpan one day. Like I know that this is going to happen, and I need this scale. And that day that I played it, within an hour, I'd written a composition on it. And so, yeah, finally, I've only had this a couple of months. So finally, like a year and a half later, I have one, and it's in a beautiful ember steel, which is a stainless steel.
It looks beautiful.
And it has even more notes than the original. So this is 17 notes.
Oh.
It's like
you're going to go crazy with that thing.
I'm going to go crazy. So I'll let you see what it sounds like.
Awesome.
And I'll just play you a little snippet. I won't go too wild with it.
You do whatever you need to do. Wow.
Awesome.
Oh my.
Thank you.
That
was just a snippet of a little piece. That was the piece that I wrote when I was in Italy.
Oh man,
beautiful.
That's so great to.
I mean, wow.
Like and especially probably your surroundings out there influencing what you're feeling and playing, and it's like it's so nice to hear it come through. So the scales, I mean, there a lot of them are actually, and you could probably help me, like inspired by certain parts of the world or origins of music and stuff, because you can hear a certain scale in music and be like, oh, this puts me in like somewhere, right? Like it's so cool. So I was definitely somewhere else when you were playing. I'm not sure where.
Yeah, I mean this is quite close to almost a kind of Hijazi type scale, which has kind of got that bit of an Eastern vibe to it.
Well, definitely Eastern vibe, yeah.
Yeah, but this is actually this is the reason this scale is interesting for any music nerds out there.
Yeah,
it's because it's a C sharp harmonic minor. But so usually the center tone on any handpan is like the root note of the scale. So if I've got a D minor handpan, the center tone is D. And so you know that like whatever you play, like when I was playing earlier on the other pan, whatever I do, like because that was just improvised, I can just come back to the ding and it's gonna sound good. Like that's fine.
Yeah.
What's interesting about this handpan is that the ding is what we call the center note, is that the center note isn't a C sharp, because this is a C sharp harmonic minor, but the center note is actually a G sharp, which is the fifth in the scale.
Oh wow, that's so crazy.
Yeah, it makes it really interesting. So when I was first playing it, I was like, I'm like playing and I don't know how to stop. Like I don't know how to resolve because every time I come here, it feels like it's leading onto something new. And I'm like, I can't stop playing this instrument. I need it.
That's the center note does that. Typically it centers you, and it kind of, if you've traveled a little bit and you're like, you know what, I need to come back to where I started and then let the song flow again. But if it's a different note, it's kind of like, wait a second, that's really interesting. Wow.
Exactly. That's good. I like the way you put that. The center note centers you.
Yeah.
Like that. That's awesome.
You can have it. You can take it.
That's good.
So I get it right. We typically have actually a lot of inspiration for some of the Crush Kill Destroy things that end up on t-shirts come from some of the shows. We'll be chatting with people and say, oh wow, I love that one. If you have a chance, jump on the website and look at some of the look at some of the mottos on the shirts and stuff like that. They definitely are inspired from friends and family and people we cross paths with and we appreciate that are just one of our taglines is do what you do it damn good. Basically just whatever it is that you do, to find a certain amount of pride in your walk through life, and the people that are able to do it consistently, and even if they have a bad day, they kind of push through and they're like, I'm getting through, I'm doing it, and that's what we really try to uphold with the idea of Crush, Kill, Destroy. And
I love that.
Yeah, it's all based on my pops. The idea came from my dad, his inspiration as a wonderful human being, and as a jokester, and it came from an old sci-fi series, Lost in Space, where there was a robot that was crush, kill, destroy.
Ah, nice.
So he used to do that to us when we were kids, so that's kind of the origin. So only because you mentioned that song, I would love for you to play it, just because you brought it up, if you don't mind, and if you're cool with doing one more, that would be fantastic.
Here is the handpan to play, I Thank You.
Oh yes.
This handpan wasn't a gift, but it was a gift. It was somebody that I still hadn't met yet at the time. Michael Colley made me this pan, and the reason he made it was because I'd just done a performance at a festival with the pan that I used to own, which I no longer have. I gave it away to a student. And he approached me afterwards and he was like, Amy, that was incredible. Like, I love the show. You're really going to be an amazing player.
So cool.
But your handpan's shit. let me make you a new handpan.
Right.
So that's what he did.
Wow.
Beautiful.
So thank you.
Awesome.
Big thanks to Michael for that. But yeah, okay. I
cool.
thank you. And
Right
I
on.
thank you both for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you
It's
so
our
much.
pleasure. I mean, it's a moving experience.
Likewise. Okay.
Okay.
In fact, I'm singing as well, so you want to see my face too, right? Okay.
Oh, yes.
We'd be nothing if it wasn't for our fathers. I thank you. We'd be nothing if it wasn't for our mothers. I thank you. We'd be nothing if it wasn't for our brothers. I thank you. Yeah. We'd be nothing if it wasn't for our sisters. I thank you. So I let my head down, get it all out, listen to the sound of the whole world spinning. I tune into you. Yeah, I let my head down, get it all out, listen to the sound of everyone singing. I am what I am because of you. Oh, and I surrender to the sound that channels through. We'd be nothing if it wasn't for our neighbors. I thank you. We'd be nothing if it wasn't for our teachers. I thank you. We'd be nothing if it wasn't for our anchors. I thank you. Yeah. We'd be nothing if it wasn't for our ancestors. I thank you. So I let my head down, get it all out, listen to the sound of the whole world spinning. I tune into you. Yeah, I let my head down, get it all out, listen to the sound of everyone singing. I am what I am because of you. Oh, and I surrender to the sound that channels through. We'd be nothing if it wasn't for these mountains. I thank you. We'd be nothing if it wasn't for these oceans. I thank you. We'd be nothing if it wasn't for these forests. I thank you. Yeah. We'd be nothing if it wasn't for this harvest. I thank you. I am humbled by the sun that warms us. I am humbled by the love surrounding us. So no matter what I think I lack, whatever I can offer back, it's yours. So I let my head down, get it all out, listen to the sound of the whole world spinning. I tune into you. Yeah, I let my head down, get it all out, listen to the sound of everyone singing. I am what I am because of you. So I let my head down, get it all out, listen to the sound of the whole world spinning. I tune into you. Yeah. Oh, I let my head down, get it all out, listen to the sound of everyone singing. I am what I am because of you. Oh, and I surrender to the sound that channels through. Yeah. I thank you.
Whoa! Oh my God! Man! Whoa! Whoa!
So
Thanks,
awesome.
guys.
My God! So good.
Our friend Laura said, "Fucking awesome. Why Billie Eilish and not this?"
Actually, you can
In
find
due time, Laura.
you can find me and my friends somewhere on YouTube playing a Billie Eilish song
Yeah.
on the handpan.
Listen,
Well, it's a challenge to have an interpretation of a cover tune on the handpan, especially. I think it's really, really challenging.
Yeah, that's kind of what I used to do. That was what I was first known for in that community, was playing cover songs. And I was like, I don't want to be a cover song girl. I write songs. Like,
that's so cool.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
I definitely want to send you a cover tune that I did on one of the Gouda drums.
Oh, cool.
It's Playing a Caravan, a Black Sabbath cover.
Nice. Oh, I want to see that.
My buddy plays guitar at the end of it. It's a really sweet, and a lot of good actually came out of that from the Gouda company after they saw it. So anyway,
cool.
that is so cool. Like I was watching you play, and it you gave me this sensation of like coming from my own musical background and like going on this weird and lovely, interesting path of the handpan. Like it was kind of like solidified my journey going forward, because it's been so interesting for me, and I was like, yeah, this is right, this is right. So I appreciate that from you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your story too. That's awesome. I'd love to play a Gouda drum one day.
Yeah, they're super cool.
I think we gotta get you guys together and do like some sort of outdoor concert somewhere.
Yeah, man.
Share drums. Let's go.
I'm coming to the States in April, May time.
Wow.
Really?
And I'll be East Coast side. So
come on.
Where?
Awesome to hook up at some point.
Where are you gonna be?
What
Can you say?
I don't know. I'm gonna be all over the place.
All right.
I'm gonna do the whole thing.
Oh my God, that's exciting.
That's really exciting. That's great.
Oh man.
Yeah,
it's funny because I told Corey, I was like, oh, I see that some of the fests, some of the what's one of the big festivals, the Hangout
USA,
and then also, well, there's Hangout in where you are as well.
Yeah, which has just happened. It was awesome. It was so good.
Did I see videos like the other day? A lot of smoke and people spinning around, stuff like that. Was that what I saw?
I don't know about that.
I saw some crazy things like drum circle stuff going on.
I don't know, man. You must have
Goodwill have been.
I could have been somewhere else.
With everything going on, Amy, what is right now? What's the music scene like out there? I think I'm thinking more of like small clubs and stuff like that. How's the pandemic affected you guys?
It's just starting to reopen again.
Oh, good.
Things are starting to happen. Yeah, it's been wild. It's been one of my favorite venues locally. Unfortunately hasn't survived and it's shut down, which is a real shame.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's starting to like kick back up again. I've got a couple of local gigs which I'm super excited about, because I stopped doing any kind of local stuff for ages because I was traveling a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been weird. It's been really strange. But this summer, like finally, I've been to a couple of festivals, and it just felt so nice to be normal again.
Aside from the online stuff that you're doing, the YouTube stuff and whatnot, and I would imagine playing is so helpful, but anything personally that you've done or do that kind of keeps you in a decent mindset to kind of travel through this weird pandemic roller coaster thing?
Playing playing music, making sure that I have connection with other people is so important. And I've realized that like this last couple of weeks, kind of going away to a couple of different festivals and visiting friends, it being reminded of how it feels to have that human, because it's all well and good, like this kind of stuff is incredible, and being able to talk to you guys is amazing. but it's so different from being in person.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
just seeing like an actual face in your face smiling at you and like feeling a hug, like
Yeah.
it changes everything.
This is the digital handpan right here, and then the hugs of the real handpan.
Exactly.
It's cool. It's cool. It works. It sounds nice.
Yeah.
It's not
But
the
there's
same.
something about the real handpan.
Yeah.
I get it, and and I fought it for the longest time when everything happened. And I'm fortunate to have good friends in my life that they just pushed it. They were like, "Hey, man, well, I'm talking early on. Was like my business was shut down like 2-3 weeks. I was like, okay, and then like a month and 2 months, I was like, wow. And they were like, "Yo, you want to do a Zoom?" I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how to use it. And then when I did one and did this kind of format, I was like, yo, I'm like, what are we doing this again next week? Like what time? So I definitely embraced it. And I just realized that we have these tools to do, it just came down to intention. What are we using it for? So that connection was what got us to this point, and hopefully we'll move forward and start to see people in person.
Yeah.
So what's it like where you are? Is it still kind of super crazy and not really seeing
It's kind of
people?
mixed up.
Corey should answer that because he's the crazy music goer, especially since that's a huge part of our lives. And it's
I mean, kind of what's going on here is every state sort of got their own thing, right?
Yeah.
And then even like so in Connecticut, where we are, literally like every town, city has their own thing. So I mean, overall, the message is, we're going to keep trying to do things, but you guys got to wear masks. So they're not like shutting down. They're not overly.
We're wavering. We're kind of wavering a little bit because we've gone.
Oh yeah.
Back and forth with the mask.
Exactly.
And
Right. But they're not shutting it. I mean, some bands have shut down, canceled their tours and things like that. And then other bands went ahead and did their thing. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with the band Thievery Corporation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just went and saw them the other night, Friday.
Oh, cool.
They played a very small club in Norwalk. And I mean, again, mixed. You had some people wearing masks, some people not wearing masks. But the good news was the band, they're like everybody else. They want to get out and perform. They absolutely want to just get out there. So, you try to put whatever regulations you can in place to try to keep people as safe as possible. Because turning around and going back the other way isn't really what anyone wants to do either, right? We don't want to go back to a shutdown. So let's just figure it out as best we can to keep moving forward,
Yeah, that's the vibe. That's the vibe here, very much. It's been interesting getting back into it and all the new precautions and like COVID pass and all that kind of stuff. Are you double jabbed? All of this. It's so strange to get used to.
It really is.
We have one of the sayings, and actually it just became a newer T-shirt. And a lot of, like I said, a lot of these things manifest on the show. People they'll take Crush, Kill, Destroy and kind of explain what it kind of means to them. And, I know we've heard it before, and then maybe not necessarily in this way, but it definitely resonated with Corey. And then he was like, "Yo, we need to make a T-shirt out of this." So one of the newer ones is the logo, and it says "Crush goals, kill negativity, and destroy obstacles." So
yes,
obviously this is a lot of what we're dealing with in the times. But it sounds like, even like you sharing your experience with us as a kid and then growing into the music scene, and it sounds like you've done a lot of this stuff. You've had these goals of where you wanted to get to with your music, and you absolutely have a very positive outlook on things, which is great. You feel strongly about some of the things in the world.
Very strongly.
I kind of we have actually, Corey and I, we kind of have a joke about that on the show, which is, we feel very strongly about certain things too. But if we got to a certain point with something, we would flash this thing that was like, "No religion, no politics."
Brilliant. I'm amazed you haven't had to use that on me.
But well, we were, and I know, I've done some research, and I know some of the things that you feel strongly about, and the beautiful things that Corey and I seem to surround ourselves with similar people in the same mindset. But but this format was basically like we were consumed with, especially in the States, if you paid attention in the last 4 or 5 years, it was a very interesting very interesting and scary time.
Yeah.
So we had to find, and we were like, you know what? I was like, the very first episode, I think our little thing I put together, Corey, was like, fuck the news. We're doing our own stuff, you know?
Yes.
So
good for you. That's awesome.
So we're lucky that we have, like you said, you have found support with friends and family, and then and that's what's up. So how, if you could relate to that, crush, kill, destroy,
Totally.
in that kind of positive sense, how do you feel that you've experienced that in your life, or are you doing that now, moving through this pandemic?
Yeah, I think the killing negativity, particularly, like, I mean, like outwardly, when I'm in this kind of situation, like I am the most positive, optimistic human being ever.
Yeah.
But that the negativity creeps in. It creeps in, and the obstacles creep in. And most of the time, the obstacles are obstacles that I've put there myself without realizing.
Yeah,
that's important to understand too.
Huge. That's great that you brought that up, because there's also, actually, you know what? So on the back of this, and I'm definitely not going to stand up and turn around because I'll knock something over. we have one of the other sayings, and like I said, if you have a chance, jump on the website. There's on the back of the shirt, it's on the back of this one, it says, it's got a Tibetan dagger going through it, and it says, on the top it says, don't become what you hate. Like you said, if you feel you can be and I would imagine yourself, you get very passionate about things that you want to change in the world or what's going on, and it's a fine line, because you can fall to this, if it's coming out of you like, fucking, yo, you need to change this, and the next thing you know, like, oh my god, I'm just as crazy as this person or situation that I've been fighting against. So that was something that came to my mind at some point, because I was experiencing that. You know, I was like, I'm no different than this dude that I'm having a problem with, and I'm like, I need to keep myself in check. So, another cool shirt. But
one of my favorite phrases at the minute that keeps coming up for me is one that I heard a couple of months ago when I was listening to a Dharma talk, a lecture from, I can't remember the guy's name, but one of the monks from Plum Village, which is like a Zen Buddhist.
You're talking about Thich Nhat Hanh?
Yeah, it wasn't Thich Nhat Hanh. It was somebody else. But yeah, Thich Nhat Hanh is kind of the Zen dude.
He's a Zen dude
of Zen.
Zen dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I'm down with the Zen dude. I like the Zen dude.
I love Thich Nhat Hanh. He's so sweet.
He's incredible. I actually was very fortunate to meet him and do a walking meditation with him.
Wow, no way.
Yeah, trippy. Long time ago when I had a black beard.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, wow, that's incredible. I love that. I would love to hear more about that. That's super cool. The
phrase.
So the phrase was, he was talking about, like, I don't even think he was talking about that, but he just kind of said in passing, we are each other's environment, and then he kind of moved on, and I was like, it just kind of, I was shook.
Wow.
There you go.
You know, so everything that we are trying to like manifest in ourselves and be, we're not just doing it for us, we're putting that out into the world. So if we're hating ourselves, we're giving that to other people. We're creating that environment. But if we're loving ourselves, we're creating a loving environment. And that's just
I can't agree more. It's energy, right? It's what you put out into the world.
Exactly.
You know, and again, there's a sad state of the world that's negative, and they do things and we see it on the news and it's bad. And that's why we're not that. Because we're going to counteract all that. And then through your music, again, like these platforms, everything, like it's anything to kind of just, again, keep just moving in a positive direction. Stay as focused on the positive as we can.
And that's what I love about the handpan, because it just resonates positivity, and it creates a shift in your heart when you play it and when you listen to it. That's my own personal experience. I don't know what it is.
I get lost in it.
I
really do.
Just saying, guys.
In a very positive way.
Go buy a handpan. Buy a handpan.
Change your life. It's actually maybe
buy my album.
maybe maybe they are little UFOs making our minds travel to a different place or a better place. I don't know. I don't really know.
I don't care. If it works, it works.
That's serious. Like that's totally true. So that's we do at the end of our show, we do some giveaways. We got a couple of cats hanging out. And we do some trivia. It's usually pretty silly and pretty fun. It's kind of quick. So if you would stick around with us to do it.
Yeah.
And I know my buddy Frank's on here. He's going to try and answer everything. And I guess so we're going to do Destroy Trivia. It's fun. Woo! Free stuff. All right, let me see. Okay, so we have six questions, so to speak, or things, and we're doing today's trivia is unique instruments. So I'm gonna put a little blurb about the instrument. And Corey and I always say, we tell people that are hanging with us, just Google the shit out of it. Go. Where there's no cheating, not cheating or whatever. Take this, cut and paste it, find it.
And don't feel bad about it. At all. Just don't.
Yeah, just take every word and type it in there and press enter and find the answer. And then we send stuff to you. So these are actually really interesting, and I got photos of the instrument after the fact if we get some answers. So the first one, all right, number one, this instrument is a series of pipes, much like an organ, but the sound is made by applying combustion to the pipes, usually with propane and gasoline. Wow. So wacky.
I would have never.
Yeah, I was like, what?
I want one.
It actually sounds kind of metal, It's like so your keywords here are a organ and propane and gasoline. If you put those three words into Google, you're gonna find it, guys. So let's wait on Frank to get and I think I may have been aware of these things at one point, but I didn't really look that deeply into them. And then I was like, whoa, this thing. And then I watched some videos and I was like, wow, this is like super amazing.
I've heard of pipes being hit with stuff, but not combustion.
Yeah, they're insane. That'll be the next thing I put in my backyard, and like Tracy will be like, what the hell is going on?
What have you got now?
So if we don't get anybody, we usually just move on. Let me see. We got somebody going here. This is a guess, but it's not right.
No,
I don't know what that is. A Calio.
I'm gonna Google whatever that is.
You're gonna Google it. Frank said a Hammond organ, but it's. I mean, I guess if you lit the Hammond organ on fire, maybe, but this it actually does have a specific name.
Yes.
Related to fire, so that's your hint. That's really going to get you an answer.
It will.
Oh,
These are
cute.
Sometimes we get some really hilarious answers, Amy, and some really weird stuff, which is some of the fun. And sometimes I make these up or look for them, and then I'm like, oh, these are so easy, and then we kind of linger like this, and people don't get them right away. I could show you a picture, actually. Wait, let me see.
Yeah, I want to see.
Okay, Frank got it. He got it.
Ooh,
Hey,
Pyrophone.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, let me see if I can find this. There we go. Yeah, look at this thing. So within these glass chambers is
that's
like
so crazy.
It's tiny.
Yeah, it's like they light inside those like little glass chambers.
Wow.
Yeah, see if you can find some videos because it's super cool.
Pyrophone. This is amazing. I need to write this shit down.
Yes. That's one thing we always say on this show too. We always learn something new.
Yeah.
We do. We do. And a lot of
one way or the other.
Okay, so number 2 is, where am I at here? Okay. This acoustic instrument uses vibrations from strings transmitted via coiled springs to the frame drums. vibrations are turned into sound by membranes, which echo back and forth on the coiled spring. So I will show a picture of this because it's so weird, and this might be a little trickier trying to find. And the name I could tell you is, I'm not even really sure how to pronounce. But this is what it looks like. Whoop, let me get rid of that banner so we could see it. Wow. I feel like I've seen, yeah, it's so crazy. So I guess that's what they're saying. The vibration, there's 2 strings that transmit sound through the coils to the frame drums. You can see like those drum heads. And they turned into sound by the membranes, which echo back and forth on the coiled springs. Like, what the heck is that thing?
It's pretty wild.
I've seen similar instruments, but not that grand.
Yeah, it's so wacky looking.
It really is.
Frank said a harpsichord. It's not a harpsichord.
What? That's very cool.
Yeah.
It reminds me of I've forgotten the name of it, but it's like a similar kind of thing, and you hit it with a tiny little stick, and you have like a stone to change the pressure on the string. And then,
berimbau? Is it a berimbau or
essentially?
Is it like it has like a gourd for the
resonance? Like
a yeah. That's I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but it's they use it in like Brazilian capoeira.
Yeah, exactly.
I know because I had one. A friend of mine gave it to me. It was amazing.
Oh, cool! I would love one of those.
All right, so we don't have any guesses on this one. Maybe we'll move
yet.
on. Huh?
Nothing yet.
That one's a little tricky.
Can you try to pronounce it?
Can I try to pronounce it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Let's just skip that one because that was the one. So it's that one is Yaybahar. I think it's either Yabahar or Yebahar. So you guys got that freebie answer. So we'll move on to our next one.
Yay. Freebie.
These were a little difficult. I don't know. This one is easy, I believe. Just read it slowly and you get the answer. An electric string instrument played by tapping on the strings with both hands, devised by Emmett Chapman in the early 1970s. This is what it looks like. Let me get rid of the...
Oh, look at that thing.
That's not what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, electric string instrument played by tapping on the strings with both hands. So, devised by Emmett Chapman in the early 1970s.
That looks mega.
That's pretty wacky. Yeah. Again, I watched some videos and they're so wacky. Like seeing all these weird instruments. I probably shouldn't look at any because the same thing. I'm like, oh, I want to get one of those.
It's my trouble. I have to stop myself because I love weird instruments.
Frank is just guessing. He said a lap steel. I know I don't know why he doesn't use Frank. So Frank is a computer guy and he's not using Google to find these things.
Good for you, Frank.
Good for you, Frank. He's an honest. He's
integrity.
An honest,
I like it.
That's funny.
I guess these were harder than I thought. I really didn't think they were that hard. Did you try to look any of these up, Corey?
I did. But like you said, if you're smart about where you put the words, you're going to get it.
Willie got it. The Chapman.
Oh, there you go, Will.
Yeah.
Nice, Will. Got the Google going on.
I was expecting one of those. Have you seen the big rectangular ones that are kind of like almost like piano, but it's stringed, but it's buttons, and you.
Maybe there's one in this trivia. I don't know. So we have this keyed fiddle is a 600-year-old traditional Swedish instrument. The modern variation has 16 strings, 37 keys that slide underneath them to create notes, acting like frets on a guitar. So your keywords here are keyed fiddle and Swedish. I really sound like a game show host now.
I think I know this one.
The keywords are.
Google's your enemy, Frank. What?
This is actually Google's my enemy.
Right, come on.
This one is actually, the spelling is really interesting on this one, and I looked at it over and over, and I said, "Oh, it's Swedish." So I was like, the letters are mixed up. I was like, "Wow, so wacky."
Mm-hmm.
Also, really interesting looking.
Is it the one that you kind of play like this? Yeah.
Yeah, let me get like I said.
Yeah, a friend of mine has one of those.
For real?
I mean,
Yeah,
16 strings, 37 keys might give you something.
37 keys. Yeah, that's another, some keywords for Google.
It's like a really difficult version of like a hurdy-gurdy type thing.
Yeah, it looks crazy too.
Like you have to bow it yourself. Super cool. I don't know the name of it though.
I don't know that I could. Well,
wow.
Yeah, I could pronounce it. Did you look this one up, Corey?
I did. Yeah, and it is very difficult to pronounce. Hurdy-gurdy.
Mary said hurdy-gurdy. It's not hurdy. It's like that, but it's not that.
Yeah, it's very similar. I imagine the hurdy-gurdy must have come afterwards.
Frank at it again.
Because you crank that.
Oh, that's it.
Nickel harper.
I'm guessing Frank used Google on that one. Even if
I hope so.
He says he hates it. Miri came in right after Frank. Two more. Okay, this where am I? I really love this one. Oh, this is so weird. This instrument was created by composer Victor Gamma, inspired by the nests of extinct species of angling birds.
What?
The intent of invoking the spirit of the birds. So crazy. I'll show a picture of this because it's just so crazy looking. Like,
wow.
That's an instrument that I want in my basement right now to play with.
Look at Frank.
Yeah.
Did Frank get it again?
No, he's saying that he didn't even Google it.
Oh, he said he didn't.
Last answer.
He said composer Victor Gamma, inspired by the nests of an extinct species of, like, how do you come up with this stuff?
Bizarre.
It's incredible. The spirit of the birds. I'm down with that. That's heavy stuff. I like it.
I thought it was going to be like an ocarina or something, like.
Oh right. Oh yeah.
But no, it's stringed. Is it?
It's stringed, yeah. And I think these like little parts on it are like, yeah, I don't know. Oh, a string. Willie said it's a stringed birdhouse. Close enough.
I think you win. Super cool. I like that.
So, all right, I'm just gonna say it because Frank's probably gonna get it, and I only have so much stuff to give away. But that is it's not a stringed birdhouse, but but I like that answer though. Actually, it's a toha, Toha, or a totem harp. It's called so.
Totem harp.
Totem harp.
That's super cool. I want one.
Cool. Frank said it's a spy drone guitar, but spy drone guitar.
Birds aren't real.
That's Frank's also on. And our last one here is oops. I'm pushing all sorts of buttons here. Instrument of Hungarian descent. There's your clue. Belongs to the dulcimer family. This may have been what you were referring to, possibly. 2 beaters used to strike the strings and create notes. So it's in the dulcimer family, but I think it's much bigger. And I think I don't know the exact differences of it, but it has a different name. So
yeah, it's not the one it's not the instrument I was describing, but I think I know the name of that one too.
Yeah, this one, yeah, it was.
Oh, actually, no, it's huge.
It is, right? Yeah. I never heard of this before.
Huh. Okay, maybe I don't then.
Frank's excited that you said birds aren't real. He made a comment earlier when we were talking politics for a quick moment about the world being run by lizards anyway. So
yep.
That's where Frank's at. And actually, I will definitely have to get your contact, Amy, because I always send some swag to people that have joined us. So I'll send you a bunch of swag.
Yeah, that would be super cool. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, come on, guys.
Frank took a guess, but I don't know where that came from.
I would love a dulcimer too.
I definitely would love a dulcimer. I was supposed to see Dead Can Dance in like 2 weeks at Radio City Music Hall, but they canceled.
Oh,
It was the third rescheduled show. I'm so bummed out about it. Like they were scheduled in April of 2020, pushed it to 2021 a year later, and then pushed it to October, and now they just canceled. So that's a band that I'm dying to see live. Like I really want to see them. All right, guys, you gave up. Did you guys give up or what?
I think maybe.
Send her a book too. I'm not sure what Mary's talking about. What am I? Mary.
A sea monster.
Oh yeah. I have people pushing my other projects on here. Anyway, thank you, Mary.
I need to look at the comments.
Yeah.
So funny.
All right, guys. So you didn't get this one. I will tell you now. It's called a CIMBALOM, Cymbalom.
Oh.
Go research it. But I'm glad that there weren't too many answers because I've been giving so much stuff away lately, and I need to catch up on my printing and all my stuff. So
You'll have nothing left.
I have nothing left. Yeah, I got to get back down to the CKD bunker and continue to do stuff.
Yep.
My favorite comment of this afternoon. Duh. Okay. All right, let me get rid of that. Awesome. So get out of here. All right, I apologize. I'm like pushing all these buttons and whatnot. Amy, it has been an extreme pleasure.
Absolutely.
Chatting with you. Thank you so much for playing. Really, really great afternoon for us, and I hope the rest of your evening goes well in the future over there.
Yes. I am from the future.
You're from the future. Just send us a message if anything crazy is happening so we can prepare ourselves for it.
I will.
But I'll
have to give it to you in code so that I don't affect the.
You can send a robot bird with the message.
I'll send you a drone.
Drone. Seriously, thank you so much for taking time to talk with us.
Thank you.
That was great.
Really appreciate it. And I wish you well with all your endeavors. I'm going to keep following the tutorials and hopefully I can learn some more stuff. And good luck with all the classes and stuff that you have coming up.
Thank you. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and we'll keep an eye on your Instagram and see when you're coming over here. We'll have to try to find out if you're anywhere going to be near where we're at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll have to connect. We must connect and jam sometime. That would be really cool.
Super cool. Are you using your? I know social media seems to be obviously it's quicker. You use that primarily for all your things coming up, like all your endeavors and whatnot.
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook. I know Facebook's a bit crap with like actually showing you the stuff that I post. So the best place is probably Instagram. I don't update my website very much as well, but or if you're interested in anything like specific, you can through the website sign up to my mailing list or whatever. But the Instagram is the best place to check out.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Cool.
Excellent.
Thank you guys.
Thank you again.
So lovely. What a lovely way to spend the evening. It's been so nice.
Awesome.
We'll stay in touch and keep crushing, killing, and destroying everything.
You
Cheers.
too.
Cheers. Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Thank you.